Nisargadatta Maharaj, Nothing is Everything, December 20th, 1979. Your concepts have clouded the self. Maharaj, regarding the self, I give you important, useful hints. Its realization is your job. Parents will help their son to get married. Thereafter, what to do is his job and not parents. Listening to this knowledge is to die while living. To the death of your identity, which does not leave the ignorant till end. The timid leave a stage out of fear of extinction. One is so much attached to the body that one finds it impossible to accept even a separation from the body. It almost amounts to the death of the body. For a true seeker, the body is only a cause of the question, what am I? He has no doubt about his existence apart from the body. Maharaj is explaining that he is imparting the knowledge of the self, and it is for the listener to absorb it and to experience the self. He can only explain, but cannot make the visitor realize the same. Like parents forcing or helping the son to get married, and the son has to do the remaining life with his wife, and parents cannot do anything about it. So this knowledge forces you or gives you a particular idea in such a way that your death takes place while living. What is meant by death taking place while living? A separation from the body takes place. That is what is called as death. In the case of the real death, the Atman gets separated from the body and leaves it. Here, the separation of the Atman from the body, that is a principle of I am, from the body takes place. The present concept is I am the body. So, the separation of I am from the body takes place, and that is called as death by living. But the Atman continues to exist in the three-body principle and run it. But the concept dies. That is what is called the death. So once it is the death of your identity. Once the concept I am gets separated from the body, the so-called person cannot exist, because person is the concept of I am the body, further percolating down to a lower level and creating an identity with other both sentient and insentient entities and living together with them. Now, if the body concept is not there, then the identification with other sentient and insentient bodies cannot be there. Other bodies do remain, nothing happens to them, but the identification with them totally disappears. So, you no longer identify in association with them. So, your identity, which is a son, which is a father, which is a brother, which is an officer, which is a businessman, all these things will disappear. Normally, in the case of ignorant person, this identity continues up to death. Whereas, the one who has realized, for him, where he has separated his I am principle from the body principle, his identity disappears. So, people who come to the Maharaj to learn about self-knowledge are provided with this information, and they get scared of it. Once they get scared, they don't want to continue because they lose their body and their physical identity in the world, and they don't know how to live without these two. So the timid or the people who are worried what will happen to them leave Maharaj and his teaching in the middle and run away. The attachment to the body comes at a very, very young age, and it continues from then onwards. And the total living is the concept that you are the body, and it is very difficult or next to impossible to come out of the idea that you are not the body. Hence, a separation of I am from the body in the concept or in the thought itself is as good as a physical death. But if there is a true seeker, then he has the idea that he is not the body and continues to pursue the question, what am I? So he knows that, or he has an idea that he is not the entity called the body, and he is convinced about the logic of how the body has come, because the body has appeared sometime before birth it was not there, after death it will not be there, but he believes himself to be one who is enlivening the body. Right now the one which is through which he knows it, this phenomena is called the mind, but he is not sure whether the mind was there before birth or after death. But he knows that there is a mind which is separate from the body, the thinking faculty. So with this idea he starts that there is an entity which is there beyond the body. So with the quest and the inquiry forces him to look into himself, to locate his true identity. Visitor, can I know or observe my death? Maharaj, death happens when the sense of being vanishes permanently. Without the sense of being, how will you know death? You go to sleep every day. If there is no waking, in or after sleep, it is death. The difference between sleep and death is only the fear about the latter. For a jnani, the clearing of the vital breath is blissful. Similarly to your happiness in the toilet every morning. Maharaj is explaining to a question about observation of the death by the one who is dying. He explains that death happens when the sense of being vanishes permanently. In the case of death, this physical body is enlivened by prana, and the prana is enlivened by the I am principle, which is immanent. When the prana is the one which is struggling to retain the body in order, and if due to some health problems, the body has deteriorated and is not able to regain itself to the normalcy. So the prana struggle is not working, and the Atman senses this. And the Atman senses that this upadhi can no longer be used by it. It collects whatever it has manifested in the subtle dalam, the tanmatras and the antakarana and the sushma indriyas, and exits through sushumna and goes back and to mahattattva or the pratibimba tattva and becomes dormant. Once the Atman leaves this particular upadhi, the sentinence from this upadhi is removed and no knowing can take place in this upadhi. Only in the presence of the Atman, the I am principle, knowing happens. If that vacates this upadhi, knowing cannot take place and there is no more any knower in this. Prana is still there, but knowing is not possible. So, knowing of death cannot be done by the other organs or whatever is left out. What is left out is only a vasanatmaka sarira is left out in the subtle realm without any support, and that cannot know what the prana is doing. Later the prana disintegrates and physical death takes place. Hence it is not possible for anybody to know what is happening at the time of death. It is similar to going to sleep, and if you don't come back, it is called as death, because the vital breath is not coming back. The outgoing breath is called as the prana, and the incoming breath is called as apana. So, prana means life force. So, the life force, they say, has exited. Prana means outgoing breath has exited. The incoming breath has not come. So, in waking state, you have fear that you may die. But once you go to sleep, you are not aware whether you are alive or dead. The physical body is cut off in sleep or in dream state itself, and in deep sleep state, even the thought principle and knowing principle are cut off. So the jnani is happy because his upadhi, which is troubling and which is unnecessarily there, is no longer available, and he reaches the original state. There is no he who reaches, because he knows that his real state is the absolute. That is all. Reaching and other things from the state of the upadhi to the top of the absolute does not arise, because you are absolute all the time. And it is happiness is there in the thought of the jnani, that this limiting agent, which is the one hanging around in this part of manifestation, is no longer there, and you move to the real state of the absolute. Visitor. If I do not get sleep, I take a pill. Maharaj. Similarly, knowingness, waking and sleep are the results of a big pill called food essence. What is birth? Other than the appearance of these three states, their disappearance is death. Visitor. Who is fit to receive the spiritual knowledge? Maharaj. One who is distressed by physical, mental and spiritual problems. Visitor. If I do not get liberated in this life, will I die? Maharaj. Knowingness, waking and sleep are the qualities of the food essence. Are you the food you eat? Visitor. No. Maharaj, your body is your food, not you. Its death is not your death. Thereafter, your knowingness will be no more. 100 years back, your knowingness was absent. Were you dead? Visitor. No. There is no death. Whether I am realized or not, why take all the trouble? Maharaj, only verbal knowledge without realization cannot remove fear. You cannot fill your stomach by breeding breakfast menu card. The knowledge is defined as that which liberates. It brings peace and tranquility. The load which you carry on your head will then be put on your table. So Visitor is explaining that if he doesn't get a pill, he doesn't get sleep, he will take a pill. Maharaj is telling there is another pill in this upadhi. That pill is called as the food essence. That food essence is the one which is responsible for creating the states of waking, dream and deep sleep and knowingness. So once these three states appear, that is called as the continuation of the birth principle which appeared. When the knowingness appeared, the birth is realized because you have got a sense that you are the body, and with that all the three states appear and they alternate during the course of the lifetime of the upadhi. So their disappearance is called as the death. So in death all these principles disappear. So for a question of who is fit to receive the spiritual knowledge, Maharaj is explaining that certain amount of distress is required, mental distress for persons, either on the physical or mental or spiritual plane, and that distress should force them to look deeply into the spirituality and the understanding of it. If spirituality is pursued as a hobby or just for passing the time in old age, it will not yield any results. This involvement totally should be there. For that, there should be a total inclination towards that. An inclination will come when you are really hurt on the physical plane and a distress signal is forcing you to move in that direction. For another question, whether the visitor will be liberated in this life itself, Maharaj is laughing and telling that the question of this life alone has no meaning, because this particular life is nothing but an expression of the food essence. As long as food essence is there, this life continues, and if the food essence disappears, there is no life left out, and there is nobody living in this. If there is nobody living, then who is going to die? Because as such there is nobody born, but a physical body appeared, along with it a subtle body appeared, and the food essence has resulted in the formation of a principle called Chidabhasa, a layer on the Antakarana and the subtle realm, and the transactions of this upadhi from subtle to gross and gross to subtle is taking place through that layer. So in the case of death, your knowingness will not be there, and that is all that happens. There is, once the knowing goes, this upadhi cannot function, like in Sushupti. But in the case of death, the prana also disappears, because the one that is running the body also disintegrates. So, who is dead? Nobody is born, nobody is dead. A upadhi appeared, survived, functioned and died. But there is nobody in this upadhi during the totality of its existence. So this is understood, then the question of death does not arise, because birth was not there. So the visitor is asking the fundamental question: if there is no death, whether I am realized or not, why take all the trouble? Maharaj is telling what you are having right now is a theoretical knowledge. The theoretical knowledge will not remove the fear of death. Your attachment to the body continues. As long as the attachment to the body continues, the fear of death continues. It is something like reading a breakfast menu and thinking that your stomach is filled. Stomach is not filled. Whatever is in the menu has to be ordered, and that ordered item has to reach the table, and that should be swallowed before the stomach is filled. In the same way, the information that the Guru is saying has to be absorbed and then to be ruminated, and after rumination that should be confirmed through realization of the information. That is, the I am principle has to be realized. It should be understood that I am is your real nature and not the body. This has to happen. The experience has to dawn. From then, movement to the absolute has to take place. So these are all the experiential stages, and by hearing to the knowledge of the imparted by the Guru, will not take you to realization and fear from the death. It will not remove the fear of death. Visitor, when one is no more, who is there to receive the offerings made to the departed? Maharaj, none. Those who make the offerings get satisfaction and the priest his feast. So in all these offerings, the priest comes and conducts a ritual of offering, and at the end of the ritual, the priest collects the fees, and the people who are performing these things get a satisfaction that they have offered something to their ancestors or the departed souls. But there is nobody that receives any of these offerings. While awake itself, you go to bed with a full stomach, but in sleep you get a dream that you are hungry, and you start searching for food, and you get some food in dream, and you eat it and feel satisfied. When you wake up, you feel hungry again. So you have eaten food just now in dream, but can the dream food reach the physical body? But you should not feel hungry when you wake up. But the moment you wake up, you feel hungry. So similarly, with a full stomach you have gone to sleep, but you started feeling hungry in dream. So your physical realm and subtle realm themselves, while alive itself, are not coordinating with each other, and what is the real experience of the gross body is different from the experience of the subtle body, that is the dream body. And what is the experience of the dream body is not the same as the gross body while alive. If that is the case, when total separation and extinction of all these bodies takes place and everything is removed, the subtle is absorbed back into the Atman, which becomes dormant, and the gross body is removed permanently from this plane of this existence. Who is there to receive these offerings? That is the question. Maharaj says and confirms that there is none to receive any offering, because nobody is there right during the course and the existence of this upadhi itself. When there is nobody right now, where is the question of somebody appearing after death? This is only an idea. Visitor, now I am free of most of my concepts. Maharaj, your concepts based on hearsay have crowded this self. This knowledge should be able to free you even of your I am, which is also a concept. Your Bible is full of knowledge, and the clergyman preaches it, but none preaches it this way. So visitor expresses his happiness that he is now clear of his concepts, or most of his concepts. Maharaj said, whatever you have heard and gathered, those concepts are nullified to some extent. But whatever knowledge you are receiving here should guide you to the principle of I am, and that I am is to be realized. Once the I am is realized, it will be known that I am is not true. It is only a concept, because it is not the original principle. In the I am, there is a material. That material is saying it is. So it is enlivened by Chaitanya, and enlivened by Chaitanya, the material is saying I am. So it is not a real entity, but it is a concept. What is real is only true, and what is enlivened by something else, because of which it confirms its existence. And when it is no longer enlivened, that means it cannot confirm its existence. Or if that material goes back to its samya sthiti or balance state, then it will no longer be able to receive the Chaitanya and say I am. So that material only is the one which is saying I am, and it is not true. Once this is realized, the principle of existence expressed in the universe is only for the universal play and has no reality, and only the absolute is real. Because in the absolute, the principle of I am is not there. It is awareness absolute, self-effulgent and pure awareness. So whatever is taught to you in your church through Bible is different from whatever you are receiving here. This type of knowledge is not taught to you anywhere. That's what Maharaj is confirming. Visitor. In the West, sages did not enjoy freedom to tell the truth. Maharaj, when I talk here, I have to suffer its effects. That is an established truth. Visitor, can you make it more clear? Silence. Interpreter. Maharaj used to say that Jnani's words are very powerful. They have a great impact on the listeners, including the Jnani himself. He mentioned about a place of pilgrimage where a Jnani lived long ago. All visitors experience the secret of the place, that they have to leave the place within few minutes of stay there. Maharaj said, any wish of the Jnani, example, leave me alone, works even after his Mahasamadhi. A Jnani has to be very careful while using words. They have their effect, good or bad, as applicable. Maharaj did not like burning of crackers due to their sound and air pollution. Once he said, I wonder why these people burn money and houses. He immediately corrected himself by saying, of course, houses did not get burnt. So, the visitor is explaining that the sages did not enjoy freedom to tell the truth. So Maharaj is confirming, when I talk here, I have to suffer its effects. This is an established truth. Normally, the people speak and the words come out as expressed. The power of those words is very, very limited. Whereas, when the sage speaks, the power of those words is expressed in totality. So they will take effect. So the sage should be very careful when he uses the words, because unknowingly he may cause distress to other people. So this is to be understood, and sage is very careful while using the words. He cannot use words just like that, like any other common man. In Chandogya Upanishad, the sage is explained as one who has got Satya Kama, Satya Sankalpa. His desires are real, they are the desires of the absolute, and Satya Sankalpa means his expressions are real. Once this particular thing happens, a sage's utterances will take shape and form, and they will happen. So this sage is very careful in using words, because there is every likelihood that it happens. That is what Maharaj interpreter explained, some of the examples that took place by a sage who does not want people to be around him, and he wanted to be left alone. So people who go even to the Samadhi are forced to leave that place after staying there for a very limited short time. Even Maharaj has corrected himself by removing the word houses when he said people are burning money and houses. That is when they are burning the crackers for Diwali. So he corrected it, saying that the word houses is wrong, only money is wasted. Maharaj, prior to his birth, Was Jesus aware of appearing in form? It cannot be. He cannot be an exception to the rule. So Maharaj is confirming that is Jesus aware that he is appearing in a form prior to his birth? He cannot be exception to the rule. Any type of expression of a noble or a sage is not known to him before his appearance. The qualities that are put into the antakarana and the very, very negligible amount of causal body or vasanatmaka body that is attached to that makes the sage realize his real true nature in a very, very fast way during the course of existence in this life, and he gets rid of this vasanatmaka sarira or the ego along with it, and it becomes realized. Once realization takes place, this sattva guna starts expressing itself in totality through that upati, and he is as good as the absolute. His expression is as that of the absolute. So any sage cannot know that he will be born as a sage. Visitor, is there any witness to your ultimate findings? Maharaj, if there is any witness, be sure it is all a lie. As long as there is no witness, it is all in perfect order and the truth. The absolute state, there are no others. I am the only witness of myself. So visitor is asking whether there is a witness for his realization. Maharaj says if there is a witness, it is not called as realization, because in the final stage only the absolute is there, and there is no you at all to call yourself as the absolute. Only absolute and its manifestation in the subtle realm is available for experiencing, including its expression called the Mahatattva. If there is somebody, then it is not called as the realization. Then how to believe that it is realization? Because the same thing is realized by other people and they have expressed it. So once it is expressed by the other people, you compare with their expression and you come to the conclusion that realization has happened, because that experience itself gives you such a feeling that you are totally different. That is, there is no way similar to the physical world and the physical. That experience is not a photoism, because you are not seeing anything. You see yourself, you know yourself as the existence absolute and awareness absolute, and you are the spaceless entity who is aware, and you see your expression and the power operating in you. So all these things come to experience, and from various people's experience and recorded happenings, which is there in the totality of the Upanishads, it is, and you can easily understand that you have reached the state of realization. No other proof is required. We cannot bring anybody into that experience. It is not possible. Visitor, is Guru's help a must for losing body identity? Maharaj, yes. Thereafter, the disciple gets closer to the Guru. So Maharaj confirms that you have to get this knowledge directly from a Guru, because he teaches you the intricate things in the process of realization. Without that, you cannot get into it on yourself directly, because you don't have any experience, whereas the Guru has the experience. Once you start moving, then you will be nearing the Guru's experience. Maharaj, to a new visitor with closed eyes, don't meditate here. Listen with eyes open. When you are alone, go to the state when your parents did not recognize you and you did not recognize them and meditate deeply. Do you understand that your appearance in a form was spontaneous? So Maharaj is telling to some other visitor not to meditate here, but to listen to the talk here and understand. And after understanding, then he can go and meditate on his own. In the process of meditation, you have to realize your original state I am, which is not there before or which is eternally there. So he says, when your parents did not recognize you, you did not recognize them. That means you have gone out of the body sensation and body attachment. The principle of I am, once it is realized, there will be no body. Only an idea of the body remains, but body will not be experienced. The I am principle of the Pratyaga Atman cannot experience the body because the body is made of Panchikruta Mahabhutas, and the I am principle cannot be experienced Panchikruta Mahabhutas directly. Hence, it needs this upadhi which it has manifested to experience the world. So the question of experiencing the physical body itself is not there, and if you have realized the I am and moved to I am, you will not have any body at all. This body gets totally disconnected. The only difference between I am realization and Sushupti is, in Sushupti you don't know that you are there. Your existence itself is wiped out. Whereas in the I am realization, you know you are there all the time, self-effulgent and knowing, but without the body. Of course, the mind is there and mind will be experienced. And if the mind remains calm, you experience yourself all the time. But the body's association and knowledge of the body, or the experience of the body will be cut off, and an idea of the body continues with the Atma. So from all these thoughts, Maharaj says, have you understood that your appearance in form was spontaneous? It is not preconceived, predetermined. Your physical body is a combination of the five elements, and it happened in a particular way. The male and female principles combined, and they have got tremendous information with them, but only limited information has been expressed through this upadhi in that combination. That is how it got only limited characteristics of the totality of the information they are carrying. Similarly, a subtle body is formed by the Atman through the Panchatanmatras, and they combined in a specific way, not with any intention of making anybody. It happens spontaneously. Like that, a upadhi happens spontaneously, and there is no reason for it to be like that, but it is like that. Visitor, yes, it was without my knowledge and cooperation. So visitor confirms now that he was not there and his cooperation was not there in the formation of his physical or the mental faculties. Maharaj, although you, body has no knowledge, you, the unmanifest self, is responsible for your bodily manifestation. So Maharaj is confirming that you may not be there as a body, but you, the I am principle, the unmanifest self, is responsible for the manifestation of your body. You, the unmanifest I am, which was dormant, became active, and that active I am has enlivened the prana to continue to see that the physical body is formed from embryo stage to the stage where it can grow into a child and be delivered outside into the world, and also it has formed the settled realms so that the upadhi becomes totally self-sufficient and can express itself in the world. That is how the Atman manifests, and that principle is the highest principle in manifestation. Without that, nothing else happens. So the I am principle is the godly principle, and first and foremost responsibility of anyone is to come out of the body concept and move to the I am and get stabilized in I am. I am has to be experienced, and any amount of listening about the principle of I am or Atman will not make you realize that. It is realized only when the thoughts totally subside, and then the Chidabhasa is experienced, and when Chidabhasa is experienced, through that the Pratyagatman is experienced. This is the methodology. With this, we conclude this topic.